Hello, I'm Emily Mielstein with the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, and this is a public hearing video on a framework action that considers modifying the recreational for-hire red snapper annual catch target buffer. So red snapper is allocated 51% commercial and 49% recreational. The recreational allocation is further subdivided so that 42.3% is allocated to the federal for-hire component, and the remaining 57.7% is allocated to the private angling component. In 2014, a U.S. District Court ruled that NOAA Fisheries had failed to require adequate accountability measures for the recreational red snapper sector, and that it failed to prohibit the retention of fish after the recreational red snapper annual catch limit had been harvested. So in response, the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council established a 20% buffer in between the annual catch limit and the annual catch target. So if harvest exceeds the annual catch limit, then accountability measures are triggered. We use the annual catch target to set our harvest goals, and that way, if we overrun the annual catch target, we have that buffer that we're talking about so that we don't hit the annual catch limit and trigger those accountability measures. Now, the 20% buffer was expected to result in a 15% probability that the annual catch limit would be exceeded. And it was derived by applying the Council's annual catch limit, annual catch target control rule. So this table shows our recent annual catch limits and landings for the recreational sector. In the 4 years since the 20% buffer was put into place, the entire recreational sector has overharvested its annual catch limit twice. The private angling component of the recreational sector has exceeded its annual catch limit 3 times and its annual catch target once, and the federal for-hire component has neither overrun its annual catch limit or its annual catch target. So in light of that, last year, the Council approved a framework amendment that modified the for-hire ACT buffer to 9% instead of that 20%, just for the 2019 fishing year. Also, it's important to note that this spring, the Council approved Amendment 50, which is state management for the private component of recreational red snapper. And in that amendment, each Gulf state is actually responsible for constraining its own state to its own portion of the annual catch limit. So that effectively renders that 20% buffer ineffective for the private angling component. So now the Council is considering reducing the buffer for the for-hire sector beyond this year. There are 3 simple alternatives here. The first is the no action alternative, and that would leave the buffer for the for-hire sector at 20% after the 2019 fishing year. Alternative 2 would set the for-hire buffer at 9% by applying the ACL-ACT control rule using the years 2014 through 2017. And finally, alternative 3 would set the buffer at 5% by applying the Council's ACL-ACT control rule using the years 2015 through 2018. So it's a pretty simple amendment, and the Council would like to hear your thoughts before it takes final action in August. You can send us your comments either by following this link and filling out our online comment form, or you can email us at gulfcouncil@gulfcouncil.org. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and send us your comments.